All right, boys, welcome back to the FUT Podcast. As always, you have myself, Jake, and Chais on the line. But we have a special guest, the first guest on the podcast today. You guys know him as WyseFifa on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, all the above. Well known in the community, obviously. Obviously, Mitch and Wise, he FIFA trader and investor, part of the FUT Weekly Pod, as well as a FUThead contributor. So happy to have you on, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, man. Love it. Always like supporting the local boys, too. I know you guys are in the area where I live in the United States, so it's time to get after it.
Absolutely.
A lot of podcast experience.
Some NA FIFA guys, they got to stick together.
Sure, dude.
So with Wise on the podcast here, obviously we got to talk some market. I want to talk about it right now anyways, just based off of kind of what some things I've been doing, but also just kind of trends in terms of what's been going on. Obviously with Summer Heat, it's been a huge promo in terms of SBC players, which has been great, but it's obviously going to have a big demand on the market. So I don't know how much trading you've been doing or investing recently. Obviously the game's kind of at the end of the cycle here, but something that I was looking at this week and I actually picked up a little bit on was out-of-pack investing on like 81 to 85 right now is just so OP because there's just so many SBCs that are requiring that, and then obviously everyone's ripping them.
Yeah, no, so I'll take that one, Chais, and I'm sorry to step on the toes of the usual co-host here.
But go ahead.
I actually had taken a break over the winter period, but now that it's summertime, people got a little bit more hours on the game.
Yeah.
And football's back in general. I've been getting into it. And so I've agreed with you. I agree with you, man. Like, I've been able to make a ton of coins recently for a multitude of reasons. One of them is definitely the investing in these SBC players. Of course, the out of packs, team of the week's back. So all over Twitter, you saw people throwing up Nkulu as an option, the Cameroonian center back from Torino and stuff.
Yep.
And I find it incredibly interesting because it is the summertime. So usually this is when the FIFA cycle will die out a little bit, but there is definitely still enough demand with these good SBC players that are coming out during Summer Heat to make a ton of coins, while also they're not people aren't as competitive on bids if you're buying at the right time. So I'd love to delve a little deeper in that. Who are some of the players you're thinking of, or you've been looking at?
Well, it's funny that you said that because I actually bought into Nkulu, but I bought him so inflated. I bought him at 6.5, and I messed up because he went extinct. Was it Saturday or Friday? And I didn't sell. Well, he went close to extinct. He was like 9.5, and I was listening for lazy at like
for the was that the Moments SBC?
Yeah. And now I think he's back down to like 6.5. So I mean, I'm gonna keep him until Wednesday just because the more SBCs we have, the longer he's out of packs. But then even speaking in terms of like low term investing too, I invested in Rafinha's at basically discard, and he's pushing like 1.7. I've been selling to lazies all day at like 2.3, 2.5.
That's perfect.
Obviously, picking them up at discard at 800, 900. It's a no brainer. I mean, 4-day hold, and you're making 1,500, two grand a card.
Exactly, you're making 200% return. You can't. Especially for people at this cycle that, as much as I just said, people are still active in the game. It's also summertime. People are trying to get back outside. The world is opening up a little bit because of after the pandemic, and some places are doing it better than others. But this is a FIFA podcast. So because of that, this is a technique that a lot of people can do if you don't have a lot of time. Just dedicate a couple hours on specific days. If you're trying to buy the low fodder investments. Monday, I find that after squad battle rewards, I don't know if you touched on this ever in the past, Jake, but after squad battles rewards drop Monday mornings, there is such a good supply of those 81 to 85 rare golds. 84s, 85s are going to be inflated for a long time. So that I don't know if that's the best use of your coins right now with all those SBCs coming out, or all these SBCs coming out. But totally, man. I anecdotally today when we dropped, we're speaking on Sunday, they dropped the flashback SBC. I'd love to hear if you boys did it and who you got, but I flipped a bunch of Boss Dosts 82s. You look at that. You look at the SBC solutions. I wanted to pick one up to complete the SBC, realized that there was no buy nows under 5K. Started picking them up for like 1K open bid, just people weren't on. So this is what I'm saying, that there's plenty of money to be made.
Yeah, dude, you can trade pretty easily right now with FUT solutions. It's kind of been that way all year, but especially now. And it's been interesting with just like you said, in Chai's, we talked about this last week, like with this promo, like everyone's saying the game's dead, the cycle's dead, which like historically, like, this is late in the game, but you look at 81 through 86 and dude, the cards have never been higher, like the entire cycle.
Yeah, no, exactly, which demonstrates a ton of demand. Like if people are looking for like, and we'll get, I think you have a little segment that we'll get into later, teasing those boys to keep listening to the podcast, or girls, that, we're going to talk about some of these SBC players that have been picked and the controversy that is there. If you're on social media, you got to check yourself about what type of the content you're consuming. Like, all these FUT traders on Twitter and all, like, good buddies or people I know, we have a bubble of what we think. There are still plenty of casual people, 12 to probably 24, 25-year-olds that are turning the game on every day. Just keep
absolutely. Chais, you haven't done too much investing in any of that, have you?
Oh, no. I'm pretty much at the point where I don't care. I'm just playing. I'm ripping SBCs. I'm buying guys way over market price. I'm just fucking around. And I think that's what you're going to find with a lot of these guys.
Exactly.
So people that are being smart and buying like Kolarov a couple weeks ago, he's extinct now.
Yep.
Gold Kolarov. All these players that are 81, 82, especially the fullbacks, good links. I mean, they're higher than ever before just because guys like me are going to go off the market and buy them for nothing just to rip an icon pack or rip one of these like party bags.
And that's exactly what Wise is talking about. It's like, obviously, like, there's a small portion of FIFA players that like actually look into the market and care about the market. But 95% of the players on FIFA are that case where, all they're doing is looking at the footprint solutions and buying. So, and one player I was able to look at this week, I actually didn't buy, I should have, but Visca. I looked at Visca, who's obviously he's always the lowest 84 because of the lack of links.
Yep.
And I was looking at him for 6.5K right when I was looking Wednesday morning, right when we Central Time in Chicago, Wednesday morning, right when we get the team of the week. Obviously, those cards don't go out of packs until another 4 hours, so you have the time there to still buy while the supply's there. And I was looking at him at 6.5K just because 84 is obviously like the pinpoint of like what all these SBCs have been required. And he's extinct at 10K now. So I mean, like you said, you put in literally 5 minutes on the game, just mass buying 20 of those, and you're making 3.5 a card.
Exactly. No, hey, it's nice to have. I like Chai's input too. As just someone that's out there. Like all these people always talk about the lazy buyers. Like I don't think there's any other FUT podcast that'll let you into the mind of a real lazy buyer, if you will.
And that's
me. That's what I got for.
That's the kind of fun dynamic of the podcast too. It's like I have more of the market side, where Chai's is more the player and kind of the casual. In terms of
if knowledge is power in a sense, and as much as that's a cliche, like you got to know who the real majority of FIFA players are. And the thing is, I've loved that FIFA has a slight tangent here, slight digression. I love that FIFA's allowed players like Chais. Like Chais, how much money you got? How many coins you got? Millions, right?
I had probably like close to 2 going into team of the season, and then I probably just lost so many just buying and selling different icons every single week. I'm probably at like 600K right now.
Hey, no, the fact that you even have 2 million coins. If you were around, if you would have been around, and I don't know if you are, I'm speaking, my bad. But like in FIFA 10 to FIFA 15, there's no way you would have come even close to that. So I'm so glad that in the past, like FIFA 19 and FIFA 20 have allowed the majority of players to get access to coins for just playing the game. So I'll plug EA in that sense. They do plenty of other effed up stuff. So don't get me wrong, I'm not riding EA right now, but it's good to see that there's still opportunity to be made because people don't care about the game and they can make their coins through playing it. So that's why as traders you got to understand
well, so everyone can pretty much play like with big cards. If you just put in the work and actually play, then you can end up with some big cards at the end of the game.
I mean,
unlike the past games, you could play all year and not make shit.
Right. Yeah, and you're the prime example, Chais. I mean, you're playing weekend league every weekend, finishing gold 2 to elite, and you're getting coins, you're getting red player picks, and you can make it just as much as ripping packs. Like you can make it just as much as someone who's trading to a certain extent. So
I've spent 0 of my own money on the game.
And I think the interesting thing too here, which makes it tough, is that the tough part for casuals and even for people who understand the market is at this time in the game, because there's so many players that are dropping off, every single card on the market is just dropping in demand. So if you want to keep, so like Tri said, he had 2 million coins going into Team of the Season. And every time he bought a player, every weekend that goes by, he's losing 50 to 100K on, those top tier cards. Like the only way to keep your money once it gets to this point, and like I said, you have to be super into the market and understand this. You literally have to buy and sell every week just to stay liquid at that same price, because every time you're playing with the cards, the values are just going down because the market's it's at the point where it's just dropping now.
No, completely. Yeah, Jake, you'll have to have me on for another podcast to talk about that in depth too, because that's definitely a way. Hey, and it's one of those things people always talk about, like, dynasties are made in the off season. So all you people listening to the FUT podcast that think it's dead but are still into it, like right now, June, July, August are the perfect times to practice these market experiments that you might have, market questions, and learn, because it can, even just picking up a little bit can help you avoid losing coins in the future and just have a better game experience, if you will.
Okay, I want to transition to kind of the next topic, which is it's kind of more of a topic on kind of EA's strategy and kind of the game cycle. I thought something Nate FUT Accountant put out the other day, which was super interesting. He said, can't wait to read EA's earnings transcript in the fall. And then there's a quote that said, we saw an incredible increase in FIFA user interaction during the last quarter. And then he went on to say, you released 5 objective cards in a week, 2 of which required 30 plus games. So it's almost like, I guess my take on this is like, it's kind of frustrating as a player there's clearly, an uptick in content and uptick in, marketing during the Q3 and during the time that they're trying to get pre-sales for FIFA 21. And it's like, I think everyone across the game and across the FIFA community has all agreed that the Summer Heat promo is the best we've had this year, if not the best in a long time. And it's just like, I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Hey, you can't be mad at EA for running their business like a business.
Right. But I know.
No, but I totally understand, and I feel the same way as an actual consumer of the product. Like taking a step back and looking at it like you would a businessman, you could understand what they do.
Yeah.
But as the consumer of the product, I do feel like EA have been misrepresenting what the game's potential could be for a long time, and that is why they've been getting their clocks cleaned by battle royales. Like, absolutely, they're still able to make a shit ton of money. Sure, that's because video games are getting
more
popular, right? Like, so I'd love to see the year-over-year percentage-wise. Like, I don't know if they can break it down percentage-wise. Like, yeah, okay, cool. There's they added 10 million more people this year to the player base. And like, these are hypothetical numbers.
Right.
Okay, there's a difference of if you added 10 million from 10 million, like as a start, or if you added 10 million on top of 100 million, which is, I think, it's more close to. I think that, you got to avoid being complacent. And I'm not going to knock them for releasing great content, but they totally just know that they don't need to do it during Team of the Year, and they don't need to do it during Team of the Season. And so what are they going to do? All right, historically, we have we have terrible engagement then the end of June, July, and August, because there's usually not soccer league going on. So the fact that there's even Premier League, Serie A, all these big European leagues going on, that's a boost.
Yeah.
Plus, there's still a global pandemic, so people are at home playing video games more. And yes, they are ramping up. They're going to need to do something, because what we saw, FIFA 21 is not getting released till October.
Yeah.
So they're going to need to do something to keep us engaged for much longer and extend the cycle. So they're flexing with, hopefully they're listening to feedback, but I wouldn't be holding your breath that they're going to release stuff like this. I would be shocked if they don't release an objective player pretty much every week next year. You can take my word for that one. I'll stake my life on that.
That was one of the big things for them. Chise, let's bounce to you. Do you think we'll see another new promo this year that we haven't, similar to Summer Heat objective for the rest of this game, Chise?
Yeah, I think so. They got to keep people entertained. They got to keep people hyped going into the next year. They're just going to keep pumping shit out here for the rest of FIFA 20. And there's nothing else going on. They've already drained everybody's wallets. They want to make sure everyone's psyched for this next game. So these guys are marketing professionals. They know what they're doing. It's all part of their plan. And then right when FIFA 21 drops, everyone's going to be reaching for FIFA points.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have a promo? I'm sorry to jack this a little for you, Jake, but do you have a type of promo that you would like stacked on the back of Summer Heat?
Go ahead.
It's tough to really think of one because they've kind of just done everything you can imagine. They're kind of just milking the rest of the game for just random promos at this point. So the one thing I really wanted was just more players with 5-star weak foots because those are the only usable guys this year.
Okay.
And they really just hit the nail on the head with the summer heat, just making everyone that's like fun cards to use with 5-star skills, 5-star weak foot. So they pretty much – there's nothing else I really want at this point, just kind of more of those cards.
Yeah, and it's interesting because my question was kind of based off of obviously we traditionally have footies, but you see the voting in this promo too. So kind of like Tri said, it's kind of been like a blend of promos, with FUT Birthday with the weak foot upgrade, and then you have a blend of footies with the vote. So it's kind of like they've kind of thrown it all into one. So that's why it's like, well, so are we going to have footies? And it's kind of just like, well, I don't know.
I think they will.
Yeah. They'll that's a promo they'll stack towards the end because they know, like, there's no way. And Jake, I don't know if this is a segment, if you will, but there's no way Ryan Kent's not getting.
Yep, Kent's coming. And
exactly. They're not done with promos until Kent gets a new card.
Exactly. We're not. Yeah. I don't think I'll be playing Weekend League in August when we get that Kent card. But hey, there's 2 more months. Chais will be doing it for me.
Yeah, Chais will be playing.
I'm not gonna get them. Don't worry. I saw 3 Kents this weekend. They're taking out Team of the Year Messi's or Team of the Season Messi's for Ryan Kent.
That's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
But yeah, to Wyse's point, that's a good segment to the next topic here. And Chais and I talked about this, I think it was last week, but I wanted to get someone else's perspective on it because obviously you had the vote with Jovic and Kent, and I think it was maybe Musa, but obviously Kent didn't win, and so it's kind of like we think as a rapid FIFA user, it's like, well why the heck did Kent not win? Yeah. And then you start to see stuff on Twitter where it's like, well, is it because the casuals don't even know who Kent is? It's only people who are playing FIFA. It's only the people who are playing Weekend League, or is it? I've seen other stuff on Twitter where it's like, well, people don't really care in the vote, and all they do is click the first player that's selected on the far left. So it's like there's a bunch of different kind of thoughts to this. But I would love to get your thoughts on the voting system, on Kent not winning, just kind of all the above on that. Wise.
No, so I think that they, there's, like you said, you mentioned all of those variables, and I think they all play a role in a sense because there's definitely people out there that don't care about content in a sense. They just want to load in and play the actual game. So they'll click the first one on the link. And if that was Jovic, that's him. Yeah. There are people out there that are like, oh, he was the highest rated selection. And then so they just click the highest rated selection. To me, I do think the biggest weight is we got to remember that as a FIFA community on social media is where most of the this type of content is being consumed. It is definitely a small portion of the player base. Absolutely. It's definitely a fraction of the player base. And we all know these memes. And so it felt like a no-brainer. But the thing is, the people that live in, maybe Southeast Asia that play, people that live in other Eastern Europe or whatnot, but that who know who Real Madrid is, they'll pick Real Madrid just as it's just such a famous club that I think that has much more sway than the people out here like, yo, Ryan Kent would look amazing, like Weekend League grinders. Because to tell you the truth, I think I can't remember from whom I've heard this, so take it with a grain of salt, but there is you would be absolutely shocked by the amount of people that play squad battles. And so if people are out there if you are anybody in the FIFA community on FIFA Twitter, FIFA YouTube, FIFA Reddit, you would think, what the hell are they doing wasting their time? But that's the type of player that's here. So do they really even care about Weekend League, which is why people would use Ryan Kent?
That's a good point.
And I'd like to know the data on how many people that play Ultimate Team even play Weekend League, one. And then, but two, the fact is, my main reason for it is I think that it was a Real Madrid high influence, that's the one that's what carried the day.
Okay. And we'll with that too, we'll segment to the next section. Want to hear a little bit about your Weekend League tries because, I mean, to Wyse's point on that, it's like it would be an interesting breakdown in terms of who plays what type of game modes. Like obviously we talk to and we hang out with the type of people that do the same thing as us, which is competitive FIFA, which is Weekend League, and that's what we know. But how many people really play? Because I know, Chais, I've been talking to you the past few weeks, and like you said, you're a solid 17 to 23 win player every weekend, and you're just like, it's been insane. And is it because one, you're taking out all the casuals now. So all it is just the hardcore and the pros getting ready for next year playing in weekend league.
I'm still not sure. I mean, I have a new theory every single weekend, but I think I'm just playing bad now. I don't know. I was playing against guys that were not that great. I know I could beat probably like I was messaging some guy after the game, and he was like, "Hey man, like, how do you usually finish?" I'm like, "Well, I'm probably like gold 1, like 85% of the time." He's like, "Oh no way! Like I'm lucky to hit gold 2. Like I'm usually silver 1 or gold 3." I'm like, "Oh God, maybe I'm just bad." And then I'm playing against guys later at like 17 wins, and I see them on FUT or on FUTWiz, and they've been elite like most of the year, and I'm beating them like easily. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting really bad delay. I think everyone else is getting the same thing too. It feels like there's a lot less just random guys that don't know what they're doing out there. There's definitely a lot of guys that are just big FIFA fans, play all the time, and they're just killing time until the next FIFA, kind of like me. Yeah. So I do think it's a mix of that. I'm probably just kind of tired of the game and not really caring as much. But I don't know. There's a lot of factors. But the worst is definitely seeing Ryan Kent still in June.
That's good. Well, the funny thing is, like you said, everyone in weekend league now has God squads, right? It's at the point in the game if you're playing that mode anyways, it's God squads. And like you said, there's people you'll match up to who will be starting Kent over, Messi or someone crazy like that, which is just
right. When I look at the teams before the game, I'm like, oh, I would definitely see this team in Division 1. Like this is just a normal team, and it's like my third game of the weekend league, and then I play the guy and he's not really good at all, and I'm like, how the hell does this guy have all these insane players that are like, I'm playing guys that are not good at all. They got teams that are 10 million coins, and they're way better than my teams. It's just everyone's team is insane. It's just mind-boggling. But I think that's a good thing that, everyone can really kind of get these really rare players these days, like easily.
Yeah, I know that.
I think at this point in the game, yeah, go ahead, Wise.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I was going to ask Chais a follow. Like what I was going to ask him was like, have you noticed a shift in the caliber of weekend league player or the type of weekend league player you've seen in the past, I'd say two weeks, over the past 2 weekends?
I feel like I'm playing really good players really early in the weekend league. Like usually I can cruise through 10, 15 games pretty well. Okay. And then now I'm like 3-3 in my first 6 games. And I'm playing guys that I would just figure are Division 1 guys. So it feels like the field is definitely stronger too. But you never really know what you're going to run into right now in weekend league.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. That's the cycle of FIFA that we're getting into at this stage where
exactly
less casuals. And then I also think, once people saw I actually didn't even play the second weekend league that would have been the ultimate team of the season rewards. I didn't play. I didn't play then, and I haven't played since as a player that played all through team of the season and a few before that. I think that's what we're getting into. We're getting into a cycle where there's people out there that are like, I don't want to keep playing. So you are playing people that are the true FIFA fans, the true people that are going to be out there that have definitely made FIFA's their top priority video game. And so because of that, they're going to be good at it. And you're eliminating players from the player pool, meaning you're going to get the cream rises or whatever the wrestler dude says or whatever. There's a funny gif. Too bad we're not doing something with videos or whatever, or audio clips. Jake, add the audio clip of the dude that says the cream rises to the top or whatever. But and that's where you're running into, and I totally feel that. And it's something that hopefully the broader FIFA base that consumes this podcast will understand. Like, you're just going to have to bury it, I guess. All
right. We got about 10 minutes left on the pod. I want to transition to some of the players that were brought out this week. Like we obviously been talking with Summer Heat promo, EA's done a great job of bringing in-demand players for relatively good value, and a lot of them. I mean, we're seeing SBC players, every day or two, which is obviously what people want. So we saw Bobby Firmino and Eriksen come out this week, both very similar cards, obviously both similar type role with the center forward and in cam positions there. Want to hear your thoughts on tries from a gameplay perspective. If you could pick one of those, no leagues involved, so they played similar to like an Icon and Chem. Who are you taking here?
I love both of these cards. Or they're both 5-star, right?
Right, which is very similar stats.
I mean, I probably have to take Bobby just for the swag factor. He
Yeah.
just looks good on anyone's team.
Yeah.
And I just feel like his striking is just, I mean, they're pretty much the exact same card. It's basically whatever kind of team you're running with.
Right.
But I think Bobby's just because his shooting's a little better, he just feels like he just crushes the ball.
Yeah.
It's just the feeling just of knowing playing with both cards. Not those exact ones, but playing with Eriksen's and Bobby's. Bobby's shot just feels more, I don't know, like a Cruyff kind of shot. It just kind of goes straight in instead of you get a Ronaldinho type shot where it kind of floats around a little bit like Eriksen. But with Bobby, he's just crushing it. I've always been kind of a Bobby fan too, so I'm leaning towards him.
Wise, what are your thoughts?
Well, you got another. Yeah, Jake. Were you gonna pick? Because otherwise, I'd say another topic for your podcast in the future is: do you guys think hot takes do they boost BPL players over other players? I know that's been a debate in the.
So I guess the one thing I was gonna say about these cards is if you look at the price of these, like we just said, very similar cards. They price Bobby at $400,000 right now, and Eriksen's at $240,000.
Yep.
So that kind of goes exactly what you're saying. Do they kind of have the bias where it's like, oh, it's Prem, we're making him more, or it's Prem, we're gonna make him better?
Yeah,
Prem
no, I'm in game, but I agree with you completely. As well as they know people are there's more Prem teams, so they're gonna try to milk more coins by making them more expensive. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like you said too, Jais, Prem and Brazil, that's the best combination you can get in terms of demand on this game.
5-star.
Yeah, so they're gonna make that expensive, but I still think it's probably a little too expensive for me, but I still think it's not terrible value.
You're talking about Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, he's still your end game striker, Cam.
I think
whatever you want to do with
400,000 is a little bit expensive for this point in the game too.
Yeah.
Let's bounce to Rashford. So they brought out striker Rashford as a Moments, but I think this is interesting because obviously you have his team of the season card, which they brought out 6 weeks ago, which is probably all around better in terms of statistics, but in terms of what this card brings, there's a couple unique things. Obviously, this is a striker compared to his team of the season. What is it? Is it a right wing or a left wing?
Left wing.
Yeah, so obviously that's a huge premium in this FIFA. Everyone wants to play the best player up top. So you have that, and you have the weak foot upgrade, right? Or am I mistaking on
that? You do have a weak foot upgrade to 4-star.
Yeah. So so his team of the season is 3-star. So it's well, you're kind of basically looking at a card where you have his team of the season that is all around better, but then you have these two premium traits in terms of a weak foot upgrade and a position change. So it's well, if you're playing a Premier League team, you're a Man U fan, which one are you taking?
That's tough. It kind of depends on the rest of what your team's looking like. I would probably play him on the wing personally, even as a striker. If it's a striker card, I'd probably pick the Moments just because of the weak foot upgrade and play him on the wing anyways. But you can totally just buy him off the market right now for $290K and throw him in. You don't have to waste a bunch of untradables or buy a bunch of overpriced guys on the market right now.
Yeah.
Right. And
I definitely think at this point, this is the point of FIFA where people are, the ease of access is definitely causing a premium. Or not like the ease of access is definitely something people are thinking about. It's all right, do I actually want to go home and pick, put all these cards in, spend that hour or two that it might take a lot of people to use to actually do the squad building challenges, or do I just want to buy one off the market, instantly plug and play? Especially to get that Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. Chais, what do you? It's funny we got Wise and Chais, but Chais, what do you think of Sarr? It's a nice card, obviously French in a center back position there. Looks like good card stats wise. I actually considered getting it, but I have such a blend right now. But what do you think of that card?
It looks really good. You could even make a 5-back lineup and then throw him at CDM.
Yeah, I've heard that.
His dribbling is really strong. His pace is obviously good. His passing looks fine. And then physical and defending is amazing. But I always have this theory that whenever EA releases a not really a big name like SBC, I'm not sure what this guy's card was that started out. It was probably a silver or a low gold. I just don't trust those guys to actually perform in game. I don't know what it is. But I just like to use big name guys or like cards I know are OP. I mean, I haven't seen anyone use this card yet, so I'm not really sure. But on paper, it looks very good, especially strong link to Cyprian and Ben Yedder and Mbappe. So
Yep. Go ahead.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of people have a lot of good reviews of this on FUT Twitter and whatnot. I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying good things, but I know Aaron James, another local Chicago boy at this point, said that he liked him a lot. I think that I would completely agree with what Chai says. When you have low-rated silvers or low-rated golds that work their way up, usually things that they get, or like usually stats that are still low for them are reactions and composure. But with Sarr base-wise, I mean, when you slap engine on him, he gets 99 reactions, and then he's already got 99 composure. So I think you could feel a little bit more secure with a player like Sarr, but I completely agree. Like one of the big issues with Kubo, who I still think everybody should do, the objectives Kubo, like he's got like his reactions are a little bit low and his composure's a little bit low, so that might even cause a little bit of hesitation. But for the most part, the fact that Sarr's got 90 plus reactions base and 99 composure, I think he'll perform well. Allow him to perform.
Dude, this card stats and like you guys said, there's kind of that thought that, you know, he may not perform as well just because it's a little bit lower rated. But just from a stats wise, this card really reminds me of Militao.
No, he could be exactly. Like I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at his stats. Not true. If you don't even really need to hit him with an engine. I think if you're going to play engine on him, you're going to stick him in the midfield. But if you want to play him as a legit center back, just slap a shadow on him, get him that 99 pace, and you're good to go.
Yeah,
and he has no traits is a big thing too.
Yeah.
Like I have Ramos and Maldini as my center backs right now. They both have the dives in the tackle, which is huge, I think. And when you have that battle right above the box, and you know he just kind of like bounces off your center back, that's the most frustrating thing ever. I feel like you might get that with Sarr. With Ramos and Maldini, I know they're going to win the battle.
That's true. The one thing I really like with this card though, dude, is 96 agility and 91 balance as a center back.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's mad.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You throw him at CDM, start him as a center back.
Yeah, and I've heard. I think I may have said that too. I've seen some people on Twitter say the same thing, that like this card can easily place it like a CDM position, kind of like a Desai.
Yeah, 4-star weak foot. I mean, you got plenty of room there.
Mm-hmm. Last topic here. I know you touched on it, Wise, Chais. I don't know if you did or not, but did either you guys do the flashback? Well, I know you did, Wise, because I saw, but the flashback guarantee, was it 83 rated, right? I think
it was 84. It was 84 rated. They lowered the chemistry though. Usually, like they've been with the moments, which was last week. It was 84 rated and like 75 chem or 70 chem. And when that's the case, that's why SBC fodder in the big leagues absolutely skyrocket. This one, still 60, still a lot, but they lowered it a little bit. So, I mean, you could have made some sacrifices there, but hey, it's that point of the year, like Chai said earlier in the podcast, man. Like you make your coin. What do you do with your coins if you're just trading all day? What, just to hold them at the end of the day? No, that's like psychopath shit.
Right. You obviously spend them.
Actually spend them on SBC so you can enjoy the game.
Yeah. So what? So tell me, who'd you get?
I got Christian Fuchs. The Leicester Austrian left back. When he first came out, people loved him as a center back. I'll have to give him a run. He fits into I have options to play Premier back line, so I'll give him a run. I mean, you could also link him up with Alaba and Sabitzer if you did the objective. So there's ways to get him to your squad. I think he looks good. I had no complaints about it.
Who were you playing at left back before?
Oh, so I mean, he's not going to use Sturp, my left back that I'd use for the weekend league in general, but that's Alphonso Davies. I have Alphonso Davies left back. Okay. I told that one in the boost.
He might be the best one in the game.
He is absolutely. He's such a rock, like you talked about. Like you just talked about. I trust him. I trust him making every tackle I need, and he gets forward and he plays a lot of good balls across the box. And that 99 pace default.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, when I see someone's got him, I'm like, all right, Quincy Promise is not going to do anything today.
Chai, did you
player that I agree? The only other left back like that for me that I come up against Andrew Robinson absolutely eats my lunch sometimes.
Robertson?
He's a hungry boy.
Yeah, I can't get live. And of course, the team of the season Robinson, like the other ones, absolutely trash.
Yeah,
but like the team of the season, team of the year Robinson, he f's me up.
Chai, did you rip that one or no?
No, man. I have no cards left because
Oh, yeah.
I've been surviving off untradables all year and weekend league. I didn't play weekend league last weekend, so I got nothing left.
Well,
And I had a little bit. I did a what was it, the Moments SBC, and I got Ramos, so that was huge.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a huge pull.
So then I ripped an icon pack with whatever I had left, and I got Mateus.
What the what?
Yeah, I know.
Wait,
Yeah.
Brian Mateus?
This guy told me this the other day.
Oh, Chives. Yo, time out. You're gonna have to open up my packs, bro.
I haven't packed anything since what, like January.
All right, well, you had some ridiculous pulls, though, early on.
Yeah, very early in the year, I was doing really well. Then it was nothing, and then I got Cruyff in one of my mids. Then nothing for like months, and then I got Ramos and Mateus. So I'm pretty happy with how my luck's been this year. It was pretty dry for most of the time, but it just hits in spurts. So right now I should be ripping more packs.
Can't complain, dude.
Absolutely. Yo, dude. GG's to you, bro. GG's.
All right. Well, ran through what we wanted to there. Really wanted to thank the boy Wise for coming on. Follow him on social media.
It's been a pleasure.
FIFA. We appreciate you having you on, Chai's always good talking FIFA. So appreciate you guys tuning in to the podcast, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, boys.